on in times of stress. And watch out for diabolical masterminds.
I'll remember.
Goodbye, Steve.
Emma. Thanks.
Excuse me, apartment 3?
At the top of the stairs, thanks. He likes his tea stirred anti-clockwise.
Lovely. Parfait.
Mais dans la rue, quand on vous fait « Bonjour Tara King, bonjour Monsieur Steed », est-ce que ça vous embête ou est-ce que vous êtes content ou est-ce que vous préférez qu'on vous considère comme un acteur?
Do you know the wonderful thing about television? Now, if you met Gary Cooper or Tom Cruise or Alain Delon or Paul Newman in the street, you'd go, I don't believe it. He's come down from heaven. We are like relatives or an old piano in the corner of a room. Oh, there's Auntie McNee. Oh, didn't I see her on the television? Television has made us all friends. We're talking to you as friends. And we're talking to people we meet in the street as friends. They come to us as friends, not as that special person we saw on the TV. Oh, I saw you yesterday. Good to see you today.
We're so accessible because really we're in the living room. I remember one fan letter I received from a lady in Manchester, and I read it 2 or 3 times because I couldn't understand what she said. She said, I want to know, Tara, if you like the curtains in my living room, the new curtains.
Oh.
And I realized that she thinks I'm in the living room and I can see the new curtains.
My favorite one to me is, didn't you used to be Patrick McNee?
Yes.
And another one is, are you still acting? I mean,
Yes.
they're so sweet.
Yeah,
and
like,
dear.
you're not dead yet?
Yeah. Well,
Tu
I
vives
never.
toujours?
Yeah.
Et maintenant, une autre question française, donc assez personnelle. Vous avez écrit un livre de mémoire, je crois.
I
Published
wrote a
in France.
perfectly disgusting book. If you prefer, if you would like to get it and read about my home life, from page 1 to 82, it will take the hair off your head. The rest of it's pretty dull.
Et mon petit doigt m'a dit que vous ouvriez bientôt un restaurant à Paris.
Yes, I bought the rights for the name The Avengers for restaurants in France and Great Britain. And I wanted to open the Avengers Studio Cafe. And it's a project very close to my heart. I've spent a lot of money on it. And I have the designs and everything. I'm a little afraid to open a restaurant in Paris. Because si tu parles pas la langue, tu fais le business ici, et c'est un peu dangereux. Donc j'ai décidé peut-être commencer à Londres.
Eh bien, Linda, on attend ça avec impatience.
Mais et vous, Patrick, vous avez fait aussi beaucoup de films, beaucoup de séries pour la télévision. Moi, je me rappelle, vous avez même joué le rôle d'un méchant dans un film de Joe Dante.
I tell you, the only success, I get a very healthy pension from the Screen Actors Guild, which is unlikely. I said, but I haven't been in any movies. Oh, but you've been in them so long way back. I have been in, yes, the Joe Dante, The Howling, is probably one of the best horror films ever, and I'm very proud to have been in it, and $78 million later, it's just great, except naturally I didn't get a percentage of that. But I have made other movies. I was in the very last Roger Moore James Bond film called A View to a Kill, which I'm also delighted to have been in. But I have been in movies, the titles of which are Sweet 16, Hot Touch, The Creature Wasn't Nice. On the other hand, I was in Spinal Tap, and more people come up to me and say, saw you in Spinal Tap, in which we made the whole thing up. It was Rob Reiner's first film. So I've had a lot of enjoyment, but I would not say I'm a movie star.
Mais je crois que vous avez démarré très tôt, vers 1942, dans un grand classique du cinéma anglais, La vie et la mort du colonel Blimp.
I was an extra in that film, extra. I was at drama school. But I've also been in the small back room. You should check some of those films, you know, like the character I imitated Steed from, Rafe Richardson, in Q Planes with Laurence Olivier. Look it up if you're a film buff. Still good. And I was also in the small back room, The Elusive Pimpernel with David Niven. All these films have long gone into history. And dear Michael Powell, who was much respected, as you know, in this country, died only last year. He did The Red Shoes. What more can I say?
Alors finalement, Patrick, êtes-vous John Steed? Et Linda, êtes-vous Tara King?
Not at all. I think when you make a television series, from my point of view, I decided that it would be good to, obviously, as I'd been chosen from 200 other actresses, it must be something to do with me and my personality. So I'm sure that I used some of myself as Tara King. But I don't think I'm like Tara King. I don't know, maybe I was. It's 20 years later. I'm not like Tara King now.
When you're at the beginnings of things, and I like that because I'm an Aquarian, I was in the first motor torpedo boat flotilla in the war. It was the first, not the second. I was in the first television show ever made on the continent of Canada. And in this, I was the first person I was given. They said this character's called John Steed. You can see the script. It doesn't say what he did, who he was. He didn't come from a book. They said, go away and invent a character. And so I went away. So I got it as close. And if you'd just been through a world war in action, the only way to, and seen all your friends killed, the only way to retain a sense of humor, one, is to stay alive. And as you are alive at the age of 25, enjoy it. And then 5 years later, get a leading part in a television series. Why not play it as yourself? So that was my fantasy extension of myself, Steed, yes. The things I would like to be. I don't do any of the stunts. Rocky Taylor, one of the greatest stuntmen of all time, does all my stunts. But that's my fantasy. I'm doing all the things I'd love to do as Pat McNee, which is, I'll have difficulty in getting up from this sofa shortly because my arthritis is so bad it won't allow me to. So let's have fantasy.
Merci beaucoup donc Patrick et Linda d'avoir été parmi nous aujourd'hui. Et maintenant,
Planète Série, mais bien sûr, juste avant, l'invité mystère.
Ma série préférée, c'est Hunter. Surtout au niveau de l'action, j'aime bien le personnage un peu bourru. Et voilà, quoi.
Je suis sûr que vous croyez maintenant tout savoir sur Tara et sur John Steed, sur Chapeau, Melon et bottes de cuir. Eh bien non, ce n'est pas fini, il y a encore des informations, n'est-ce pas, professeur?
et oui, parce que nous avons aujourd'hui avec nous Dave Rogers, qui est le fan le plus grand spécialiste mondial sur Chapeau melon et bottes de cuir. Et si Dave est là avec nous, c'est justement pour nous parler de toutes ces cassettes qui sortent et surtout du travail de restauration qui a été fait sur Chapeau melon et bottes de cuir. Alors Dave, justement, quel est ce fameux travail de restauration qui a été fait sur les copies?
Despite the fact that I'd been told for a number of years that good quality, or if you like, uncut prints of the Avengers didn't exist, on one of the trips to the studio, I actually found these wonderful negatives and thought to myself, wow, this is wonderful, wonderful. So I immediately rang Pat McNee and told Patrick this, and Patrick, whoa, wonderful, what do we do? I said, we get them to release these, Patrick. Well, I can't get them to do that. You can. You insist that they release these prints because they're uncut. Patrick did so, and thank goodness that's what we've got on video. They are totally uncut, brand new prints that no one has ever seen before since 1960.
Et donc, ce sont des copies non seulement qui sont entièrement restaurées au niveau de la qualité de l'image, mais aussi donc avec des scènes qui manquent.
What have been restored and put back into the prints are quotes, the teasers, Mrs. Peel, we needed, etc. Tag scenes at the end of the stories. Certain instances in the films themselves were restored. As an example, one of the most popular episodes is Diana Rigg's Touch of Brimstone, the Hellfire Club, quote, people call it. And Brian Clemens, the man who actually wrote the episode, has always gone on record as saying that he remembers Diana, Peter Wyngarde, whipping Diana 4 times, lash, lash, lash. The British censor said, no, cut. So it went out with 2 lash. In the episode on video that you will see, they were wrong. There are actually 11 cracks of the whip, all restored.
Pouvez-vous nous parler maintenant de tout le travail et du travail vraiment que vous faites sur Chapeau melon et bottes de cuir?
Well, you're quite right. I do it as a labor of love. I mean, I have been paid for working on the videos, but I mean, it isn't big money, but I didn't want money. I would have done it anyway as a labor of love. It's that simple. And the magazine that I edit, which is there's one there, again, is a total labor of love. It's something that gives me the opportunity to sit down in front of the word processor and play around with words, and what comes out at the end is something like this. It's a way of relaxing between writing work, restoration work, whatever.
Bien, merci Dave pour toutes ces précisions. Et avant de refermer définitivement ce spécial Chapeau melon et bottes de cuir, tout de même, d'autres nouvelles, des nouvelles du front.
Des nouvelles formidables. Superman lui-même est de retour à la télé depuis septembre dernier. Les Américains peuvent suivre une nouvelle version de ses aventures le dimanche soir à 20h sur ABC. La série s'appelle Lois et Clark, les nouvelles aventures de Superman. L'accent est mis sur les relations entre les deux journalistes du Daily Planet. C'est un triangle amoureux à 3 personnages, puisque Clark est Superman, mais Clark aime notre chère Lois, et Lois elle-même aime Superman, qui, comme vous le savez, est Clark Kent, etc. Le style est assez proche de Clair de Lune, l'ensemble est assez moderne et apporte un sang neuf à un mythe déjà bien établi.
Ce n'est pas la seule série de super-héros qui va démarrer parce qu'a priori, il va y avoir aussi Robocop en 22 épisodes, et ça, c'est pour la syndication, à savoir les chaînes régionales. Mais moi, j'ai d'autres petites infos. Savoir, par exemple, Gérard aujourd'hui qui va démarrer une série télé avec le fils de Sergio Leone. Ça s'appelle Colt. C'est des téléfilms de 90 minutes et c'est un western, histoire d'un Colt, justement, qui passe de main en main.
Et sur une idée de Sergio Leone.
Exactement. Autre chose aussi, Henry Winkler, près de 10 ans après l'arrêt de Happy Days, eh bien, il va sûrement effectuer un retour dans une sitcom pour la télévision qui s'appelle Monty, qui va démarrer bientôt, dans lequel il joue le rôle d'un animateur de radio. Et maintenant, peut-être un conseil de fin.
Un conseil de fin, professeur, on n'en est que ça.
Eh bien justement, il y a en ce moment, à la télévision française, une série télévisée de Steven Spielberg et de Tim Burton, tous les deux.
Non, je l'aurais vu.
Et c'est une série d'animation, ça s'appelle Family Dog, et c'est repris d'un épisode de Amazing Stories, l'histoire fantastique, la série que Spielberg avait fait il y a quelques années.
Chien en dessin animé, seul épisode animé.
10 épisodes, et ça passe le mercredi matin sur France 2 vers les 10h45. C'est d'ailleurs pas particulièrement réussi, mais enfin, ça vaut quand même le coup de le voir. Et ça nous permet justement de nous plonger dans l'émission que nous verrons dans 15 jours et qui sera consacrée aux réalisateurs de cinéma qui se lancent dans les séries télé.
Passionnant. Alors à bientôt pour un nouveau Destination Série. Au revoir.